Today, we are diving into a powerful story about a life that looked absolutely perfect on the outside, but was shattered by a devastating secret. It's about the kind of betrayal you can't imagine and the incredible strength it takes to pick up the pieces. And it all really boils down to this one very unsettling question. How well do you really know the person you share your life with? For one woman, the answer to that question would tear her entire world apart.
So let's set the scene. We're starting with what seems to be, a picture-perfect life.
Okay, so meet Linda. She's 32, and she thinks she has it all. Her husband, Brian, he's just the kindest man she's ever known. They have this beautiful little house, a big garden. Their whole relationship is built on this foundation of complete trust and love. Now, his job meant he had to travel a lot, but that was never a big deal. Why would it be? In her mind, they were going to grow old together. She felt safe, she felt loved, and she was so sure she knew everything about him. But she was about to find out how wrong she was.
And this brings us to the moment it all started to unravel. It wasn't some big dramatic fight. It was just a phone call in the middle of the night.
Picture this. It's a totally normal Friday night. It's almost midnight. Linda's in bed reading a book. Brian's sound asleep right next to her. And then his phone starts ringing. She glances at it. It's an unknown number. Thinking it's probably just an emergency from his office, and not wanting to wake him, she picks it up. But the voice on the other end isn't what she expected. All she hears is a woman crying.
And this is the exact moment her whole world just freezes. The woman on the phone, through her tears, says, "Please, I need to talk to him. It's Davis, our son." And then she says he has a really high fever, that her son needs his father. Our son. His father. Linda is just paralyzed. They don't have a son. They don't have any children. Well, after a call like that, you can imagine the confrontation was unavoidable. And what came next was a confession that brought Linda's worst nightmare to life.
In that instant, Linda's entire world just collapsed into this one single thought. My perfect life was a lie. A big, ugly lie. And the confession that spilled out of Brian next just proved how deep and how ugly that lie really was.
It turns out Brian had built two completely separate lives. In Linda's reality, he was her husband, a man who traveled a lot for his job. But in another woman, Adeline's reality, he was also her husband and the father of their son Davis, a man who also traveled a lot for his job. It's staggering. He had somehow lied to both of them, managing two entire families that had no clue the other existed.
And get this wasn't some recent mistake. When Linda, in total shock, asked him how old his son was, Brian confessed, "Davis is 5. For 5 years, he had been living this lie. 5 whole years of deception, just built one so-called business trip at a time."
This is the textbook definition of a double life. Brian wasn't just having an affair. No, he was performing an entire existence twice. 2 homes, 2 wives, 2 completely separate lives, all while concealing one from the other. The sheer scale of the deceit is it's hard to wrap your head around.
But, this story isn't just about the betrayal itself. It's about what happens after. Because in this moment of incredible pain, Linda makes a choice. She refuses to just be the victim.
Think about this. Her husband, who just blew her life up, is sitting there, crying, saying he wants to fix things. But Linda shows this incredible, crystal-clear strength. She doesn't scream or beg. She just looks at him and says, "Your son is sick, Brian. He needs his father." She sees that the most important thing right now isn't her pain. It's a sick little boy. And then she delivers the final line. "There is nothing to fix. You broke it. Now go."
And he did. He packed a bag, said, "I love you" one last empty time, and walked out. The front door clicked shut, and Linda was left all alone in the total silence of a house that didn't feel like her home anymore.
So that was the end of her marriage. But it was also the beginning of a really long, really hard journey of rebuilding her entire life from the ground up.
And Linda's response? It was immediate. It was decisive. When Brian started texting her, promising he'd leave the other family, she knew she couldn't believe a word he said. So step 1, she blocked his number. Cut him off. She knew she could never respect him again, let alone live with him.
So she faced what was next. She found a new, small one-room apartment, she got a full-time job as a nurse, and she signed those divorce papers. Done. A totally clean break.
I mean, just think about what she had to overcome all at once. This was so much more than just a broken heart. It was the shame, the sudden financial stress, having to leave the home she loved. It was looking at the person she trusted most in the world and realizing he was a complete stranger. And through all that, she chose the hard path of being alone over the false comfort of living a lie.
So where does that leave her? Well, this story doesn't really end with bitterness or revenge. It ends with this quiet moment of closure and a really profound message about what strength actually is.
About 6 months go by. Linda's walking home from her new job and she sees him. Brian is standing across the street and he's holding the hand of a little boy. It has to be Davis. For a second, their eyes meet. She can see the guilt and the sadness on his face. And in that moment, she just offers him this small, sad smile. And then she turns and she keeps walking. She doesn't even look back.
And that's really the heart of it all. In the end, this unbelievable betrayal didn't break her. It couldn't. It changed her, for sure. It forced her to dig deep and find a kind of strength she never even knew she had. It forged her into someone who could honestly say, the heartbreak didn't destroy me. It made me stronger.
Linda's story really leaves us with this final, powerful question to think about. It suggests that maybe true strength isn't about fighting to hold on to something that's broken beyond repair. Maybe, just maybe, it's about the quiet courage it takes to let go, to walk away, and to start building something new from the wreckage. So it makes you wonder, what does true strength really look like when you're faced with the ultimate betrayal?